Alright guys, so today we are going to be doing another camera comparison between the OnePlus 7T and the Pixel 4a. Now, I already did the full camera comparison between these two, but in that video I was using the stock camera app on the OnePlus 7T, and a lot of you in the comments pointed out the fact that you can get a Gcam mod for this phone, and that makes the pictures on it much better. So, in this video we're going to compare the photos from these two cameras specifically, and in this one we're going to be using, in the OnePlus 7T, we're going to be using the Gcam mod versus the Pixel 4a, the stock camera. So, yeah, that's what we're going to do in this video, and we're just going to go ahead and dive right into this. But actually, before we do that, I do have to point out some caveats. Gcam mod is not perfect for the OnePlus 7T. The one I'm using, I'll have linked in the description down below, along with the XML file that I'm using. And that one does allow me to use all of these cameras, so that's actually a pretty nice little thing. But a couple of caveats to that. When you're switching between these lenses, like if you take a picture and then you try to quickly switch between to another lens, it is very slow. And you guys can take a look at this footage right here about how the camera works. It's just really slow and will not let you switch over until the processing is done. So that's a really big annoyance if you're trying to get some photos quickly and you have to switch lenses. So that is a small little annoyance on this one. And then the second thing is the front-facing camera is really not improved on the OnePlus 7T with the Gcam mod. I'll show you guys some photos, but for the most part, the front-facing camera is not that great on the OnePlus 7T, and it does not get that much better with the Gcam mod. If you want a great selfie camera, the Pixel 4a is definitely the way to go if you were looking for a budget one, or obviously any higher-end phones will get you a pretty decent front-facing camera. OnePlus 7T, not a great front-facing camera, and not helped by the Gcam Pro. So those are the caveats, but without further ado, let's just take a look at the photos. Alright, so there you guys have it. That was a quick little look at the photos between the OnePlus 7T using Gcam and the Pixel 4a. Now, in conclusion, what I personally think, what I saw out of these photos is the fact that, one, OnePlus 7T with Gcam actually looks pretty close to what the Pixel 4a offers, except in one main attribute that always sticks out with the OnePlus 7T photos, and it's the fact that they're just a little bit more saturated. Like, they're always just a touch more saturated than the Pixel 4a, sometimes a lot more saturated, and that is a look that I am not a huge fan of. I actually like the fact that the Pixel 4a captures things that are a little bit more realistic. It still has that contrasty photo-like look that I like, but the colors feel a little bit more real, a little bit more muted with the Pixel 4a, but I think that I like that look, and of course if I want to I can always turn up the saturation. Whereas straight out of the OnePlus 7T Gcam APK, you are getting a lot more saturated look, and that is something that I still think looks pretty good, and I do think that the Gcam mod definitely helps out the camera on here. Like, the pictures that I got, I like them pretty much. Just, if I see them next to the Pixel 4a ones, I kind of pick the Pixel 4a ones instead just because I want a little bit less saturated look, but that's just me. Now, the other thing that I also noticed is the fact that the OnePlus 7T captures a lot more detail when you're using Gcam versus the Pixel 4a. It does have that 48 megapixel main sensor, and when you punch in, you can definitely notice more details with the OnePlus 7T shots versus the Pixel 4a ones. And then of course you've got the other two cameras that you can use on here. So ultra wide, that is not something you have available on the Pixel 4a. So if you kind of want that Pixel 4a look, but you want it with an ultra wide and you don't want to buy the latest 4a 5G or the Pixel 5, which have ultra wide cameras, the OnePlus 7T does a pretty good job with its ultra wide. And then of course the telephoto, which also doesn't happen in here, but still overall I would say that if you have not messed around with the Gcam mod for the OnePlus 7T, you should definitely consider it. If you're just taking one-off photos and you need it, it's pretty good. If you're switching really fast between lenses, it is a bit of a pain to use on here. And additionally, the fact that OnePlus 7T does not let you remap the double tap power button to launch Gcam app versus the regular camera app, that has always been annoying. So I have to actually open up the phone, unlock it, and then actually launch the camera app, the Gcam app, versus the regular camera app. Because if you double tap, it doesn't give you an option. It just immediately launches into the stock camera app, which is fine. I mean, it's nice because it's actually pretty fast, but that is one of the annoyances with using Gcam on the OnePlus 7T. So yeah, if you have a OnePlus 7T, you want to get better photos out of it, definitely use the Gcam app. If you want the real Pixel experience, just buy a Pixel phone, honestly. They're pretty good anyways, and if you really, really like photos, and if that's the one thing that you're most focused on, and also the front-facing camera, get the Pixel 4a. It is definitely worth it for that camera, and it's still a really good phone. It's slower than the OnePlus 7T, but it's still a really good phone. So yeah, with that, that's pretty much it for this video. Like this if you liked it, subscribe if you guys loved it, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye!